Wow, friends, I am rarely at a loss for words. And we were expecting the Biden administration to do something along these lines. But now that they've done it, massive amnesty issued by Alejandro Mayorkas. Close to 1 million people have now received amnesty by government fiat decree. This is big. We're going to talk about how big and kind of what's going on with this. We got the latest here. We also, I have to issue a retraction, a correction. I was wrong on something and I need to clarify that and get that out to you as well. Romanians have had their election results canceled and protests have begun. We'll see where this goes, but it's not looking good for democracy across Eastern Europe. Ukraine claims to have captured 2 North Koreans, but does it even matter? We'll cover that. Plus a whole bunch of updates from watchmen from all over. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have an update you'd like to share with us, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. And if I'm wrong on something, let me know, friends, because we got an update today that I had to look into. And yeah, I was wrong. So the truth is important, friends. The truth is important. And we can be sensational. We can speak about what's going on. And we can even give you some ideas of where we think things are headed. But what I say needs to be true. So that's very important to me, and I know it's important to you all. So hopefully you'll bear with the retraction. But first, we need to talk about this big news out of Washington, and we need to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account, IRA, 401k, and you're feeling not so great about it being in risky stocks and bonds, you're told are safe, but they're not as safe as people will say they are. If you want to find out more about what you can do with your retirement account, there'll be a link at the end of the video. A bunch of you guys have and have said wonderful things about them. All right, big news in Washington this holiday weekend because of this massive amnesty. And of course, it's a holiday weekend, so they slipped this in. Yeah, right on Friday, sandwiched between the Carter day off and the National Day of Mourning and the weekend. Perfect time to slip that in. Yeah, 800,000. Well, 850,000. It's a big deal. It's a lot of people. And when you hear what people, you're probably going to like this even less. I know. You're like, how can I like it less, Steve? You just wait. Just to give you some perspective, 850,000 people receiving amnesty. DACA, or the Delayed Action for Childhood Arrivals, or Dreamers, so to speak, only applied to 800,000 people. Biden just, with a stroke of a pen, basically did a Dreamer program, except bigger. 18 months, automatic extension, temporary protected status, amnesty. So if you... I don't know. This might actually be the largest amnesty granted. We had the draft dodgers. I think that was about 200,000 people. 850,000 people. He's just trying to top Carter. I believe Carter is the one who actually issued the draft dodgers amnesty. Well, let's just look at who these 850,000 people are. Well, 600,000 or so, up to 600,000 of them are from Venezuela. And you go, wait a minute, isn't that where that gang is from that like murders people and takes over, apartment buildings and stuff? Yeah, that's where they're from. And yeah, Venezuela opened up its prisons and said, you're sentenced to life here, or you can just leave the country. And you might want to head north to the United States. They released most of their hardened criminals, their gang members, their murderers, The people have committed assaults. All these people let loose and sent north to the United States. And then Biden wants to give them amnesty to stay inside the United States where they can't be deported. Criminals. Hardened criminals. That's just wonderful. Thank you, Biden, for this wonderful January gift. All right, on to my retraction. I made a judgment call and shared information that I believe to be true about Sam Shoemate on the Sean Ryan show. That he claimed to have an email from Matthew Livesberger, who ended himself in Las Vegas in the Cybertruck in front of the Trump Tower. Turns out that email was true. And the source that I had gotten that from was absolutely wrong. And I should have done better. I apologize for that. I'm reviewing my procedures and my sources to make sure this doesn't happen again. I apologize to you guys, and please be aware that the claims made on the Sean Ryan show there were, in fact, true. So, moving over to Ukraine. Ukraine has claimed to have captured 2 North Korean soldiers fighting for Russia. Russia, on the other hand, is now claiming that they have captured 2 cities that are key supply hubs to the Ukrainian front lines. So, you know, I'll leave it up to your discretion to figure out who's winning. Thousands of Romanians now were protesting outside the Constitutional Court. We'll see if this continues. But the Constitutional Court basically just took the presidential election after they voted, took the results of the election and said, nah, he used TikTok, so it doesn't count. He used TikTok to promote himself and did a whole bunch of interviews, did a whole bunch of speeches on TikTok, and was very popular, and a whole bunch of people vote for him, but because of Russian interference, it's now null and void. Just kind of decreed that. I haven't seen a timeline on having a new presidential election. It just seems like they're just kind of cool with not having the election at all anymore. I think they're afraid that it will be the same thing over again if they have it again. So they have to kind of not have another election. You know, yay for democracy. The European Union absolutely behind this decision. The United States current administration behind this decision. This guy, I mean, that won this election, a Christian conservative, unpopular with the deep state because of his criticism of the Ukraine funding, wants to put Romania first in Romania, not other countries first. Yeah, this guy sounds very dangerous. And all because there was some Russian TikToks or something. Some Russian traffic, or I don't know, sort of like the Russian Facebook ads back in 2020. So what do we do with all this? They just up and canceled an election in order to protect democracy. They're just not going to have an election. It's funny how many of these places just not going to have elections anymore, you know, for democracy. And because they're very upset with places that actually have elections. Crazy. All right. Due to the incidents in the Baltic Sea, NATO has dedicated 2 warships now to guarding the Baltic Sea infrastructure like cables and pipelines on the sea floor. There have been multiple incidents where cables, internet cables, power cables have been cut due to ships apparently dragging their anchors in zones where they clearly knew that they weren't supposed to do that. Allegedly, these are Russian and Chinese ships, but in this day and age, how much of that's disinformation, I don't even know. But stuff is a brewing in the Baltic Sea. That is, of course, north of Northern Europe and south of like Sweden and all that water zone there. It's like a NATO ocean that Russia has access to. This is from Darlene. Single-digit weather, January 18th through the 25th or so for Oklahoma. That's what the weathermen are saying. Stay warm, stay prepared. We're seeing a lot of those type of temperatures for the foreseeable future. It is cold here. It's been cold and it's still cold and just keeps snowing. It's really annoying. And the snow just stays powder until it gets compacted on the road. Then it becomes ice. So it's just fantastic. I'm having a fantastic time up here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know a lot of you guys are having a fantastic time with the weather too. It's not going away in a lot of places for another week or so. So with power outages down south, we got issues across the board. Please be protecting yourselves and making sure that you and your loved ones are safe. Make sure you have warmth and ways of heating yourself and staying warm even without power. Mayo says, Northeast Pennsylvania, took my mother grocery shopping and noticed that the usually 50 to 75% markdown holiday meat was only 25% marked down. Different. We went to multiple stores and was either still listed at full price or only 25% off for a whole bunch of things. I noticed at Sprouts that they were marking baked goods at 50% off and other items as buy one, get one 50% off. So not the sales expected. A lot of grocery stores are tightening the belts, less sales, not as good sales, and less marked down meats on discount shelves and everything. Just less discounts. Charles says, Maryland Department of Agriculture made a public statement that bird flu is now along Maryland's eastern shore. Multiple chicken farms. Chicken is nearly impossible to find in my 3 regular stores, but beef does seem abundant. And we've told you that the beef crisis is on the horizon and it's getting worse by the month. And they're front loading this. A lot of beef is flooding into the market right now and has been for the last few months. We've seen a noted slowdown just in the last few weeks. So it looks like the beef bull is turning and we're about to get the horns. So eggs, we're starting to see potential for issues with chickens, for broilers, with the meat birds, and we're looking at soon to be problems, very serious problems in beef. Not hearing any problems yet in pork, but how long do you think it's going to be until suddenly pigs start getting bird flu? Or at least testing positive for it. Yeah. OFP Corman says $8.49 for the cheapest dozen eggs. And half the egg display was empty still. This is in southeast Massachusetts. We're hearing those high egg prices on the West Coast. Now we're hearing them on the East Coast. And even along the Great Lakes areas. Arlene says, Reading, Pennsylvania, Miracle Whip at the local Weiss market was $7.50. And I had to buy the smaller jar for $5. My grocery shopping is now a game of what I can live without. A lot of people are seeing that with the price increases and even with the availability issues. Warship Warrior says Southeast Virginia, Pulaski County. They're low on block cheese in Walmart and in Food Lion. Block cheese. Let me know if you guys are seeing the same thing with cheese out there. Again, if you hear what I'm saying and you're like, I saw that here too, let us know in an update. If you're saying I'm seeing different things than what you're reporting, let us know in an update as well. Lisa says, Northeast Ohio has been spared from the real food shortages until this week. I was surprised to see open sections on the shelves in every single aisle of our Giant Eagle store. Giant Eagle is kind of like a higher-end grocery store from Ohio all the way over to here in Pittsburgh. The veg and fruit produce was old. Shouldn't be out for sale anymore. Expired stuff, you know, and stuff past its prime. JM says, not a single egg available for purchase at Kroger in Troy, Ohio. Local Rural King has many bare shelves as well. Has not had chicks for sale for weeks. Only ducklings. Chicks are expensive right now, friends. If you're going to get into egg layers, the ship is sailing. I'm not going to say the ship has sailed, but the ship is sailing. You might want to get your orders in for chicks ASAP. Colorado Pack Rat Prepper says, hoarding those 2 boxes of 5 dozen eggs that I bought just before Thanksgiving. Somebody was listening. Good move. Bought them for less than $12 per box. Bought 1.5. I still have about 1.5 boxes left. Been using the egg substitute for baking. Save money that way. Good. Bought 5 Augustin Farm whole eggs and scrambled eggs. Now just remember that if you get the scrambled eggs, you're getting milk powder and butter in there too, so you actually get less eggs. So if you want straight eggs, get the whole eggs from Augustin Farms. They've had some decent sales recently, and they said they got those a couple weeks ago when they were a little less than. Still, Augustin Farms is punching at about like $7 to $8 a dozen, or maybe it was as low as $6 at one point in the dried eggs. So if you're seeing that on your store shelves, you might as well just get the powdered stuff and put it away on your shelf, right? They reconstitute, mix them with water. They're eggs. The consistency is not exactly the same though. Campfire says all eggs online, no longer available from Walmart in the Tennessee and Kentucky border areas. Can't order eggs online anymore. Homesteading with Gardeners. This is a heartwarming and instructive post here. Homesteading with the Gardeners says, Steve, being prepared is very important. My husband was laid off 3 weeks before Christmas, and we were coming off a 1-year project of building our own home. Kudos to you guys on the home, but sorry to hear about the job. Needless to say, our savings is gone for now because we chose not to finance all of our loan. I have been a prepper for over 20 years. I believe in being prepared as much as possible, as I have lived through earthquakes like the 7.2 in 1989, Hurricanes Ike, Harvey, to name a couple of, and multiple tornadoes. Still have trees down from our recent tornado, and not to mention job layoffs in the past. So, reasons to prep, right? While cash is also important to have saved, we find ourselves short on cash, but plentiful on food, toiletries, vitamins, cleaning supplies, etc., because I am prepared in those areas. People need to understand prepping isn't for doomsday, or not only, it's for living. I was raised by my grandparents who were born in 1906 and lived through very tough times. I was taught well, learn to dehydrate, can, scratch, cook, and bake, and sew, carpentry, etc. My husband is 68 and I'm 67, and we are still doing this. God bless. All right, friends, thanks so much for your updates and participation. Those of you watchmen who have sent in your reports, appreciate it. If you have something to share, make sure you use that word update. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there. Fill out your information and they'll get in contact with you, answer your questions, and send you information. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report, out.